Hi everyone, it's Diane. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for popping by. So today, this is kind of an extra video in between our stamping A to Z project. No, you definitely can't get over here today. Give me 1 minute to get rid of, oh come on, because we're going to use some alcohol ink. And I don't want you to get sick. Yeah. So if you've been with me, you know that I'm trying to use my stamp sets that I have from my whole collection of Stampin' Up! Stuff that I have, and eventually getting into some of the other stamp sets as well. And yesterday we used Balloon Bash, and then coming up later, I want to use, Wildflower Meadow from the end of my stamp set collection. But to use Wildflower Meadow, I was thinking, I think I want to have some alcohol ink backgrounds. Maybe, maybe not, depending on how they come out. I might not want to. So you might not want to watch all of that in one video. So this is the alcohol ink background I'm working on, and then I will do the Wildflower Meadow video after I have some backgrounds made. So, a couple things to note. You're working with chemicals when you're using alcohol inks. So, like I have my blending solution. I do have some 91% isopropyl alcohol. The stuff is stinky, I'm using alcohol lift. And then, of course, my my inks. I have a couple pulled out already. So, you're going to have some fumes and stuff. So you might want to have a little bit. I have my window cracked open here in my craft room. And I did refresh myself on what I was doing. So my paper is already stained with a little bit of red. And that probably would come off if I used blending solution on it. But I'm going to keep this one for my reds. And I have another piece for blues and greens. I'm using Yupo paper, which is kind of a, what's the word? Plasticky, synthetic. There you go. Synthetic paper. It's not really paper. And so what I like to do, and it seems like I get the urge to do this in the spring. I do have my mat covered up with some paper here, and then I have a silicone piece on top of it to try to protect my mat. I like the colors, so I guess that's why in the springtime. So I'm going to do some blues and greens on another sheet. I also have some torn up pieces of cheesecloth here because I like to dye my cheesecloth and then use it in some of my sewing projects or in my journal. So I have some of that over here handy. And this was the first print that I did while I was remembering what I wanted to do. So I just figured if I was going to do this, you might want to join me. Keep in mind that if you have a wedding coming up and you've just had a manicure, you may want to put on some rubber gloves because this will stain your fingers. You can use a puffer to move your ink around, or you can use a heat tool. Remember, this is a synthetic plasticky paper though, so if your heat tool gets too hot, it will warp your paper. So you kind of want to keep this on low, keep it held back away from your paper a bit. And that's the fastest way. Oh, that ribbon from yesterday stuck on me. That's the fastest way to get your paper dry if you're going to lift the ink like we're going to. So I'm going to start off. I'm just going to put some of my blending solution on my Yupo paper, and there are different ways to do this. See, I can see that red stain in the background already moving around. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to see all of this with the my lighting and any glares or shadows, but I really want you to be able to see as this ink starts to move around. This is Gumball. And I think the most fun part about using alcohol inks is that it has properties of its own. It has a mind of its own. I'm going to add, and I hope I don't shake the table up too much. Some of these are pearl alcohol inks. So you have to shake them up to get that little pearlized stuff mixed in there. That additive all stirred around. This is Enchanted, and this is one of my favorites. But look at how it just makes the other ink burst out into like a star. Isn't that cool? I love it. It just does what it wants to do. Now you can make it go places by using the puffer. You can use a straw, and that's actually when I first ever started doing this, that's what I did. I blew the alcohol ink through a straw to get it to move around. If you're completely unhappy with what you're doing, you can put blender solution back over this and wipe your Yapo paper clean. I think I'm going to add a little purple. Let's do some wild plum. If it's not moving around enough, you can add more blending solution. And to me, I think that's the stinky stuff, the blending solution. That's what does me in sometimes. And I can get a headache. That's why I like to have some ventilation in here. Oh, I should have pulled out my foils too, because I'll show you another trick if I can get that far. I'm using this rather than my heat gun so that I don't have to worry about muting you every time I turn the heat gun on. Let's see if I can make this ring light not have a ring shining on there. Here we go. How about that? Let me see. What are we doing? We're doing pinks. This one. Oh, Enchanted again. See, I always pick that one up. I love it. I just like the little bit of pearlescent shine that it gives it. And that was, let's add a little more gumball back in here, and then maybe a little bit more blending solution to get that to move around with the plum. Is that wonderful? I love it. Oh, I love how that just moves around. I don't know if I can move this down without losing my connection, because my the cord on my camera is a little touchy. I hear you, Alabella. I don't know if you guys ever hear her when she's crying to come in here, but I really don't think I want her in here today with the inks. I don't want her to get sick. Okay, so this one's looking kind of pretty. I like that. These probably, I don't know if I'll use this one for the Wildflower stamp set or not, because I'm thinking I'm going to want blues and greens in the background of those. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they come out. And I also have off to the side, depending on the size of the Yapo paper that you're using. This is a 5x7 Yapo paper, so I have some 5x7 pieces of heavy cardstock cut and set over here to the side to grab when I'm ready. And I guess I should tell you, it is 110-pound cardstock. That might make a difference to you. To me, I just kind of pick it up and feel for the heavy cardstock. But to some people, it makes a difference. Now I'm going to use my alcohol lift. And I'm going to put a string of that across the top. And use my brayer to gently pull it down over my ink. I don't really want to, oops, see, I made a smear. I don't want to do that. I don't want lines. I just want the lift solution to go over my ink. Then I'm going to take one of my cardstocks, lay it down, and give it a nice little press. I'll probably do the other video after lunch. I'm meeting a friend for lunch today because Wanda has some fundraising candy orders to give me for our animal rescue group. And she won't be too surprised to see ink on my hand. She's kind of used to that. And then this is what we get. cool for a background, right? And then even if you're going to do 4¼ by 5½, which I probably will, I'll trim off the edges of this that are still white, and I'll use my most colorful part. And I think that's why in the springtime I like this. I like these for Easter cards. And then I just set it aside to dry. I still have ink on here, so I'm not going to let that go to waste. And you can use this Yupo paper as a card also. And when I'm done, I probably will do that. And good, there's some little inky still left on it. Actually, I kind of like that. Give me 1 second to grab my foil scraps. After you have the print pulled off of the Yupo paper, there is sometimes it looks almost sticky where the ink and the blending solution, maybe it's not dry all the way, I don't know, but it makes a little inky residue. And that's good by me. Because I'll take my foiling papers that I have left over from my hot foil, and I'm going to rub it on here, and wherever that sticky stuff is, my foil sticks to it and gives it just a little bit of glimmer on those sticky spots. Can you see it? And I usually try to save some of these to do my daughter-in-law's birthday cards because she always says these are her favorites. It's amazing how one, like using hot foiling in my crafting, I end up pulling it out to do this, or like the cheesecloth that I'm wiping up with, I'll use it in journals. So it's fun how I can use one of my crafts and it makes products or pieces or whatever you want to call it for maybe something else that I'm working on. So that's very subtle on here. I really like it. Really pretty Easter background. Can you see those little pieces of purple foil in there? Possibly not. Oh, maybe I think you got a little, not a lot, but it's pretty. Yep. I can try. Oh, what's this one? Oh, that one's already stuck to something. And so I could try that pink. Oh, here. Oh, that one is too. I wonder what I was working on. I don't want to use my big sheets up on this. I really prefer using my little scraps. Come here, little piece. Oh, I can't reach you. And I'm putting this with the pretty side up. All right, I'm going to just set that one aside because I'm probably going to use that for an Easter card. And we'll do blue and greens. I also have a little applicator, and this has foam pads. This is different than when you're doing distressed ink. This is for alcohol ink, these little pads. So this one has pink on it, and I'm just going to move it off to the side. Try to get some of the ink off my hands. let's do one with alcohol. See how it goes. This is also, now remember, this is the 91% alcohol. This isn't just your regular alcohol. You need the stronger strength. Stronger strength. You need the 91% alcohol. We'll drop some, and see, this does a little bit of a different effect. This is Envy. This is another pearl ink. Get some sand. What's this one? Ooh, Botanical. And as you move the alcohol around, ooh, that pearlized one's kind of weird. I think it mixed with the alcohol weird. That's okay. Maybe it'll make sticky stuff to put foil on. Add in some Stream. I'm afraid to add the blending solution on here with the alcohol. I don't really know what that'll do. I'll do another sheet with blending solution and the blues and greens, and we'll see where that one, how different it might look. Actually, that's looking kind of cool too. I think I need some down here in the corner, though. I don't have anything on the corner. I think on the camera it looks pretty dark, but oh, really, I should have poured this into a little bottle. Not the pearl. So these last a really long time. Unless you're a person who's going to use alcohol ink every day. As you can see, I'm only adding a drop or two. I'm not really pouring it all over. And really, I'm just moving this ink around. When it gets to the point where it's drying and it doesn't move anymore, that's when we'll call it quits. That pearlized stuff really did get kind of funky on my paper. I'll bet it's because I used the alcohol instead of blending solution. All right, let's see where this one goes. Yeah. Lift. Alcohol lift. Where's my papers? I'm sure I have one ready. Ooh, I hope all that red doesn't go on here. Getting an awful lot of lines. Oh, and my brayer's not rolling. Why aren't you rolling, brayer? No, it's not. Not at all. I have another one. Maybe this one will do better. Oh, that one's rolling. That's good. I do have a lot of lines on there from oh, we'll see what we get. Again, the alcohol lift solution is allowing me to pull that ink off of the Yupo paper onto just plain cardstock, which is giving me more bang for my buck because then I have the Yupo print and I have a cardstock print. Oh my goodness, that came out all right. I'm happy with that. Wonderful. Set that one over here to dry. Add some blending solution on here. And I'm going to wipe this off only because of that from the pearlized ink, the little spots that it left on my paper. Oh, that's better. Now we don't have that residue on there. Let's do another one with blue and green. Get some blending solution on here instead of alcohol this time. And I'm not going to use the pearlized one just in case it's weird because maybe I've had it for a while, so maybe it got funky. I'm not sure, but I don't really want to risk that again right now. Get that over here so I can use it. Move my green around. Get any solute. Oh, this stuff is really strong. Get any in the corner. That stream is such a pretty color. Cool. And then, let's see if I have another green that's not pearl. Oh, pesto. That's going to be more of a foresty. Not very talkative. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to breathe this in too much because the blending solution is pretty strong. Oh, I like that one. Like it, like it, like it. And I'll let that sit for 1 minute here before I use my lifter. one worked way better. I think I had trouble with that red one once before too. I think, I don't know, maybe it's old too and the rubber on it might be too hard. I don't know. Although it seems okay. It just seemed like the brayer just didn't want to roll. Okay, hold your ears. I'm going to dry this in real quick. I could have muted you, but I know yesterday when I was doing the card and hubby came home from the doctor, so I went to pause my video and didn't I hit stop again? So I'm afraid if I hit mute today, I might shut you off. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to turn it off. If you don't like it, you can turn it off, but I hope you don't. I hope you don't. Which reminds me, thank you to all of you folks out there who have been giving me a thumbs up and commenting. It truly is making a difference. I've had quite a few new subscribers over the last several weeks. So I thank you for helping my channel grow. And in addition, I'm hoping that you like the videos, you know, not just... Okay, I know this is making smeary marks again. I don't know how to avoid that. That one will be great for our Wildflower Meadow. Lovely. I think I'm going to add a little bit more to this one and then we'll add some foil on it. Get some foil scraps here. Sorry, these things slide all over the place and make it very hard to... That's a good one. Oh, that's pink. There's the green one. Okay. They do slide all over. Crazy. Okay. A little more blending solution. Continue on with these colors. I really like these colors together. I like this stream. I'm surprised that after I use the alcohol lift on here and pull the design off, that I'm still able to use that yellow paper again. I think that's actually very cool. So I said I try to use this as much as I can. I remember the one year when I think it was the first year I discovered alcohol ink. You know what, I don't want to move that around too much. I like that. And I was still working. And I always came home for my lunch break because I wanted to be able to let the dogs out and stuff. And I had a piece of the silicone mat on my table in the kitchen. And I would just lay a bunch of cardstock out or a bunch of the yellow papers out and I started playing with them just on my lunch break and ended up with some of the prettiest designs. I mean, I only had an hour lunch break, but it went so fast. Oh, I guess I could have shown you what happens when you use a little blending tool. If I add a little blending solution on here, we can move this around even more. And now that we have that on cardstock, you'll be able to stamp over that or die cut it, emboss it, whatever you want. It's just cardstock now that has ink on it, which is why I wanted to have some of those ready for, I just thought that would be pretty for a meadow background. And you can keep layering these up as much as you like. This one, I like that. So I might let that one dry as is and try to pull that one and make a print. I don't want to move it around with my heat gun. And these don't take long to dry. Those are done. This is the one that I put the foil on the Yupo paper. This was my first one. Oh, here's the other blue one. And so look, 1, 2, 3, 4, what's that, 5? Just in a half an hour. And this will be 6 and 7. Separate them though while they're sitting over here so they don't end up sticking together. I would cry if I did that. Okay, let's try, oh, where's my lift? And a piece of cardstock. I also have an alcohol lift pad over here. That we can use on a stamp, on a rubber stamp, and then stamp that onto the alcohol background, and it will pick up the ink, leaving the negative space. All right, one more time, because I'm going to leave this on my Yupo paper this time, so that I'll be able to add some foils and have that background as well. Can you hear my chimes going to town out there? Had a bit of snow today. I'm actually a little tired of it. Well, it's snowing now too. Are we ready for that to stop? Anytime. Now everywhere those streaky marks are, that's going to leave a sticky spot for me, and I'll be able to press some foil into that. I really like just the drops. I love watching it just do its thing. And I'm going to leave you with that one. So if you tune back in to watch the Wildflower Meadow card making video later, you'll be able to see how this one turns out, because I'm going to let it dry, add some foil to it, and then I will show it off in that video. So if you have some alcohol inks, go play around with them a little bit. And if you don't, just remember I'm not responsible for what you may or may not decide to order off of your favorite card making website. So thanks for popping by to watch me make these backgrounds. I'll see you guys later today.